So far, we've created our header template. So in this lesson, we're going to design the header, mainly focusing on the nav menu for desktop. Now, we've already created the basic layout in the last module, that was with Flexbox, aligning the two elements with flex space between. So let's just dive right into fleshing out the rest of the design. Logo first. Let's pretend since the last module, we've designed a logo for our client, the Bricks Development Company. Here it is. It's no logo masterpiece, I know, but for our needs, it does the job. Now, I previously used an image element here, and you can totally do that. As with any image, you just browse for it in your media library. And then in the link to section, you add the URL of your homepage. Now that's fine, but it is actually better for logos to just use the logo element instead. It's what it's for after all. I'll first select the container here to drop the logo element into it. That's up in Elements again. Let's search logo, save us scrolling to find it. Click to add it to the canvas. And you can see here that Flex is still spacing the elements equally away from each other. Now in the structure panel, I'm going to delete the image element because we don't need that one now. Then I'll select the logo element, come over to its settings. See the text field at the bottom? You can type the text that will be used if the logo isn't set for some reason, which is what you're seeing on the canvas right now. Bricks just pulls in the site title automatically. I'll browse for the logo image I already uploaded earlier for speed. I created this as an SVG. We can't really see it just yet on the canvas because the text in the logo is white. So to fix that, I'll select the header section. And then into style, I'll set the background as our dark BG background from the palette. That SVG is too big, so let's make it smaller. I'll select the logo again. To set the size of the logo, you can set the width or the height and it'll maintain the correct ratio. Obviously, if you designed this page in Figma or whatever, you'd already know the width, but for our purposes, I'm just going to be cavalier and eyeball it. 12 rem seems pretty good to me. See here, you can also choose an alternative inverse colors version of the image if you have one. This is useful if, for example, you wanted your sticky header background when you're scrolling down the page to switch to a different background color. Link to, we'll leave that at site address, which just pulls in whatever URL you have as the site URL in the main WordPress settings. Okay, now let's attend to the nav menu. I'm going to select the element. Our first job is to select a nav menu we've already created. And I actually already created a nav menu back in Appearance Menus. That's in the main WordPress dashboard before recording this video. Now I'm assuming that you know how to create a menu in WordPress. Let's just take a quick look there. So you can see here, all but one of these menu items are just dummy custom links. I created those in the custom links area. We can replace those when we have actual pages. The only real page in this nav is the home page. I actually don't bother adding the home link to nav menus anymore because the logo is linked to home, but I just wanted one real page in the menu to be able to test the styling of our active current page links, as you'll see in a moment. I'll go back to edit the header template via the Bricks menu here. I'm going to choose here to set the mobile menu toggle to kick in at tablet mode. That way, it won't matter too much if we add a few more links to the nav. They'll all disappear under the mobile hamburger toggle at tablet anyway. Alignment, I want the menu items arranged horizontally in a row, of course. Obviously, we can't see the links yet because they're set to our body text color by default and they're on a dark background. To change that, that's in top level menu here, but actually just a quick word about these settings here. It's a bit confusing, I think, because these three sections are all menu styling options, but they're under the content tab, not the style tab. I found this a bit confusing anyway, but the way to think of it is the style options here under content are the style of the actual menu items, the actual links, and the options under the style tab are more like the overall style of the element itself, you know, like the box containing the menu. Does that make sense? In practice, you likely won't need to touch anything in the style tab at all anyway. Right, back to it. So in top level menu, first I'm going to quickly skip past these first few options down to typography and set the text color to white. That way we can actually see the menu, which kind of helps. Okay, back to the top again. See that we have a default 30 pixel left margin here? That's 30 pixel space being added by Bricks as a starting point to the left of each menu item. That just creates the space between each of the links. I want to work in rem, as you know, and multiples of 8, so let's go 1.5 rem instead, or 24 pixels. I don't want any padding inside each item. There's no need for any extra space in this design. It could be handy for a different design though, where you might want each link inside a box with a coloured background, for example. Background, we can ignore. Typography, we do want. Text transform can be uppercase. 600 font weight. Looks good. And then if I come out of typography, here we have some controls for active links, meaning what do we want our menu links to look like when it's the current page we're on, like if we're on the home page, for example. If you're wondering, yep, the active link settings are here. You don't use the states pseudo class menu like with hover in an earlier lesson. Active states are actually a pseudo class, just like hover. But anyway, as long as you know that the active link settings for nav menus are down in the element settings, not up in the pseudo class menu. Now I want the active link color to be yellow, so in typography, I'll set that. And nothing's changed. Well, that's because this is just the header template. We're not actually actively viewing any of the pages at the moment. What to do? Well, let me just quickly save this template first. All right, we could skip over to edit the home page so that that page will be the current page. And now that we're on the home page, you can see the home link is highlighted as the active link. That's what you'd expect, and that's great. But what if I now want to edit the active link styles a bit further? To do that, I'd have to go back to edit the header template again. But now we're not on the home page anymore, so we can't see the active link styles. Dope. Well, what we can do instead is tell Bricks to basically pretend we are viewing the home page while we're editing the header template. It's easy. That's in the template settings up in the gear icon. This is where we set conditions earlier to show the header on the entire site. And this time we do need populate content. So this is where you can set an existing page which will be used as the preview content for this template. So under content type, we want to choose a particular single page. And then from the drop down, choose our home page. Apply preview. And then we need to just wait for the header template to refresh and have a little think. We're still editing the header template. You can see if I hover over it. And the rest of the page is content from the home page, although you can't edit that content here. And because the home page is being used as the preview, the home link is now showing the active style. Now, if I select the nav menu again to edit it, and then back into top level menu, and down back to the active styles. And here is where I could continue to tweak the active styles in the template and actually be able to see the effect of it on our current active homepage, the one that's being used as a preview. Anyway, I'm actually happy with the active styles. So next, below top level menu are the sub menu styles. If you'd added any nested sub nav when you created the menu. As you know, we haven't got another level of nav, it's just the 4 links at the top level. But if you want to experiment with these styles, please feel free, of course. You just have to add some nested links back in the menu builder. And last, we have settings for the mobile menu, and we're going to cover those separately in the next lesson. Your task then is to first create your own nav menu, that's in Appearance Menus. Make sure to add your home page, just for now, and the rest you can just make some dummy links within custom links. Make sure to save your menu. Then, back in your header template, edit your nav menu, make sure to select the menu that you just made, decide which responsive screen size the mobile menu will kick in, I went with tablet in this case, and then work your way down the settings. Also, you will likely want to come up to template settings and set the home page as the preview content. It's just going to make it easier to style your active links. And once you've done that, next, we're going to move on to styling the mobile menu. See you there very shortly.